Hello, my name's Maya. I run M Magazine for Piano. Lovely to meet you too. So, how have you found the last couple of months? Has it been a bit of a shock to the system, or?
Yeah, very much so. Same as everybody else, it's been a crazy, crazy time, but very productive. We just stayed home as a family, and I did a bunch of work from the studio at home. I had to leave my lovely, beloved studio at the Village, which I love in LA, which is a bit like Abbey Road for Los Angeles. It's an amazing, amazing group of people. It's called the Village Recorder, and I've been there for 5 years. So that was very hard to not be there, but yeah, we managed.
So, you're happy to be back in the UK?
Yeah, it's nice to be home. You don't worry about earthquakes and wildfires as much.
Absolutely not. And I was going to ask you actually, what kind of impact does a thing like a pandemic have on songwriters? Are you able to carry on working over Zoom and that kind of thing, or do you have to be face to face in order to write a song with someone?
Face to face always helps. Energy in a room really helps because I seem to work best with an artist in a room, and sometimes with a collaborator, an artist in a room. But yeah, for me, it's affected us a lot. Although I've actually been finishing up and writing an album with Celeste, which is great. And because we know each other pretty well now. We've known each other for over 2 years. We've worked together. It's been easier in that way. Meeting new people is hard on this. That's been the thing. We've done a few collaborations with old friends and things, and artists who I haven't worked with before. But you know what? It's been incredibly productive, so I can't really complain. Fingers crossed we were okay.
And I listened to an interview with you, actually. It was from a little while ago, and you were talking about how if a room is stressful or if a studio is stressful when you're working in there, then something's wrong. And I'm interested to know what kind of environment you do try and create when you are face-to-face in a room with someone creating a piece of music.
Fun, funny, self-deprecating, leave your tiara or your ego at the door and just get involved really and be honest and be those are the things I ask of people, and that is quite a lot to ask of people actually when you meet them for the first time. It's like a speed date really when you're meeting people and you're writing songs, because you have to sort of put yourself out there fairly quickly and expose, especially as an artist, you have to kind of expose whatever it is you want to write about or talk about quite quickly, to people you may not know very well. So I usually start with about an hour having a chat and having something like coffee or whatever it is, alcohol depending on the time of day, and just sit down and talk to people and then decide from that what we're going to talk about and what we're going to write about and get to know people, because you'd be surprised how many songs or song titles and ideas have come out of that first conversation. It tends to be the thing.
And do you find that different artists kind of require different environments? Someone from Lewis Capaldi compared to Jennifer Hudson, or is there usually a default position that you go to?
Funny. Every room I've ever written in is different, but I've always favoured small rooms and simple setups and nothing fancy or expensive to be in the room when you're trying to write with someone, because there's no point in having places to hide. You've got to be kind of, as I said, you've got to be pretty straightforward and direct from the beginning, no matter how big they are. Jennifer Hudson recorded in my room at the Village. It's been Celeste records there. It's been everyone, and the room is 9 foot square, so it's tiny room. And I started off in a room in a broom cupboard above a noodle restaurant in Charlotte Street, and it was smaller than that. It was actually not even 6 feet wide, this room, and it was about 12 feet long. So it was just room enough to get a keyboard in there and a stool in front of it, and that was it. And I had all sorts of people in there, Natalie Imbruglia and Emma Bunton, and all this is back in the day. But it's interesting. Small rooms, I think I favour them because, you've got nowhere to hide.
And just touching on back in the day, I want to take a bit of a detour to back when you were a performer and you were Ben's brother. Why did you decide to get into music, and ultimately why did you decide to stop performing?
Well, I still do perform occasionally. I've played some shows in San Francisco and Los Angeles last year with a DJ called Audien, because I did a vocal on the song called Reach for him, which was his first single. So I still love playing. Anybody who's been on stage and knows the buzz from playing just knows that there's nothing which will ever top it, apart from maybe scoring a goal in an FA Cup final or something. It's the most addictive buzz you can have performing. So I still love it, but frankly, as an artist, I knew I'd reached the ceiling on what I did. It was great. We were nominated for an Ivor Novello for a song, but I looked at the person I was up against for the Ivor, and it was Amy Winehouse, and the song that we were up against was "Love Is a Losing Game," and I think I realised a little further down the line that. There would be a ceiling on what I could achieve as a performer, but there wasn't a ceiling on what I could achieve as a writer and a producer and a song, and as a music maker. So it made sense. I also met the woman I wanted to marry and loved, and didn't want to be on the road all the time. So there's a few great things that came together. I wouldn't want to be a father on the road, really, or a husband. I don't think it's fair. Not that I should say, there are plenty of people who do it, but they're a lot younger than me. So. I got to that point and I just made that choice as well. So I'm happy I did.
And do you think that experience as an artist gives you an advantage when it comes to making music with other performers? Do you think you have a kind of sympathetic edge towards it that others might not if they haven't done that?
I think it's worked for me. I think that, everybody has their own way of doing it, and there are some incredible writers who've never performed. Not that many, but there are, and there are plenty of track guys. I call them track guys. Producers who make fantastic music, superb talents, who are instrumentalists, but they just never wanted to step out in front of the mic or be on stage. So it works for me, and I know that it's helped me. It's definitely informed me as a vocal producer and as a producer, wanting to make records that touch people in a certain way and touch me when I hear them emotionally. So for me, it's definitely informed my career, definitely being a performer first.
And obviously, congratulations on being double nominated for the PRS for Music Most Performed Work Award at this year's Ivors. What's it like to be nominated twice?
Well, these are my third and fourth nominations.
So twice in one go.
Twice in one go is amazing, and for that it's great because the most performed work. So obviously we had an amazing year last year, which was thrilling, and to be honest, working with Calvin Harris has been a hero of mine for quite a long time, and so to be able to work with him, with a guy that we'd had success with Human, with Rory, who's fantastic as well, was a bit of a dream come true. That was amazing, and it was something I dreamt up actually. Was that collaboration? I sent Calvin Harris's management the song, Rory's vocal and a simple arrangement of the song, and said, I just think this would be right for Calvin. And thank goodness, the next day his management team reached out to me and said, "Yep, we agree." That we have no idea whether Calvin's going to like it or not, but let's see what happens. So when Calvin heard it and said he loved it, we then went back to Rory and put it to Rory, and thank goodness it worked. It was great. Wonderful, wonderful thing. And then Lewis is just a hilarious, lovely dude that I was very grateful and pleased to work with. Super, super talent from the get-go, but very funny, very humble. Exactly what you get is what you see is what you get, is the reality of who he is, I'm sure you know. Great guy. So I was very, very lucky to have the two nominations in that category. I'm thrilled.
So when you are penning tracks like that, do you ever have an idea that they're going to be as huge as they are, or does it come as a surprise?
I knew Giant was going to be huge. When I knew it from the beginning, from when we wrote it, I knew it was a big song. I knew Human was a big song, but I have to credit the record label, particularly a guy called Julian Palmer, who at Rory's label, who said, this is it, this is the song. And he got A&R'd it brilliantly and got it to where it was, which was fantastic. But with Giant, I knew we were onto something, especially when Calvin said yes and Rory said yes. I knew we were onto it. And then I heard it and it freaked me out. Hold Me While You Wait, I think I'm very proud of as a song. It was great. It was the first one. I think Lewis and I sat down in Los Angeles, actually, at the Village in a bigger room with Jamie and Commons, and we came up with that song. We were very happy with it. So I was very grateful that did well. I've been so chuffed to watch him and so happy for his manager as well, because the reason I worked with Lewis in the first place, again, is that when I was an artist performing as Ben's brother, there was this kid who used to come and stand down the front and used to sing all the words to me. And then I would say hi to him after the shows. He came to a few shows, lovely guy called Ryan Walter. And I lost touch with him after Ben's brother sort of went our own ways. And then he reached out to me a few years later and said, Jamie, remember I used to come and say hello? I was like, yeah, I do actually. And he said, well, I've found this artist and I'm in management now and I've got him signed and here he is. And it was Lewis. So it's been a lovely, lovely journey.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you've won 4 BMI awards, a Brit Award. What would it be like to take home an Ivor Novello?
Absolutely thrilling. I have to be honest, I got incredibly drunk the first night when Amy beat us. I had no idea why. I thought we had even had a chance. You know, she had 2 songs in the category, we had 1. It was actually coincided with my grandmother's funeral that day. My grandfather said, you have to go. You've got to go to the Ivors, go to the Ivors. So I did, we lost, and I absolutely crawled home in a total state. But the Ivors are an institution, certainly in Britain, and I think worldwide they're very highly respected as a fantastic awards, usually an amazing a day out. It's a wonderful day out. But overall, just the recognition from peers and from people within the industry is a lovely thing. So it would be fantastic if we could win one. If not, we'll keep going until we do, you know.
And what piece of advice would you give an aspiring songwriter who dreams to be nominated for an Ivor Novello one day?
If you are asked by your family or your friends or even ask yourself, if you can honestly see yourself doing anything else instead of music, rather than music, then go and do that. But if you feel like it's just inside you and it's something you've always wanted to do and you love, then stick at it, because it is a lifelong calling, I think. It's not really a job, it's a calling, and it's the most wonderful thing to be able to do, but it also takes you on an incredible journey. You definitely put your time in and you definitely earn your spurs in music, I'll tell you that much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jamie. I've got everything crossed for you for the Ivor Novello.
Thank you very much.